Hello everybody and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is our Games of 2022 Speedrun celebration. We are here with our second last game of the day. It's Cult of the Lambs. I will hand it right over to the runner in the commentary and they can introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Dezinator, otherwise known as Dezinator94. We'll be running Cult of the Lamb today. Any percent easy category, so yes, beating the game as fast as we can on the easiest difficulty, so yeah, theoretically the best time we can do. I am a former world record holder for this category for all of 12 hours, which is a major achievement, I know. I'll introduce Couch as well. We have Shovel Claws and Metric, starting with Metric.
It's true. And hi, I'm Shovel Claws. I'll be running this game at Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online. But here I am just commentating, a measly bystander. I use its pronouns.
Yeah, make sure to check out Shovel's run at AGDQ. That would be amazing as well. So we'll just get straight into our run. Just before we start our timer, the first thing we have to do is to make our tutorial section in the easy category as well. We just have to load into a previous version of the game. So let's load into my casual save here, Den of the Dezinator. And we'll just make sure that we're set to an easy difficulty, and that's all we have to do. Back to the main menu, and yeah. Let me make an actual new save to run through. We'll be starting our timer in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So this is a small indie game from a local Australian studio for me. It's one of the reasons why I picked up this game. Massive Monster. Big shout out to the developers over there. We're just a little lamb and we are messing around with the afterlife and cults and everything and gods. So yeah. Bit of dialogue that we're just going to skip completely. I don't even know what they say anymore.
Something, lambs are bad because Demon Overlord is gonna trust us with his power. Terrible mistake to kill us.
Not what I remember.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's just about right.
Speaking of Demon Overlords.
A little bit of a skip here for a cutscene. I'm just going to alt-tab in and out, and there goes the cutscene. I will be running this game on keyboard and mouse. I am probably the only one in our community to do this. Everyone else does controller, and we'll swap the keyboard and mouse for some skips that are only able to be done on keyboard and mouse. But I'm just a psychopath, so...
Yeah.
I also use keyboard and mouse, which...
Well, okay, I'm the one surrounded by freaks here, then. I'm the controller player here.
Unfortunately, didn't get our Ratau dialogue skip there. Didn't get the correct room entry. That is all right.
Yeah, this first tutorial part is pretty self-explanatory. Combat in the game is pretty simple. In each room, you just have to clear out all the enemies, and we use that by using a weapon. So we just kill them all. Thankfully, setting it to easy beforehand makes them all die in relatively quickly. Unlucky. There's a skip here where you can skip this little tutorial explaining how to save followers by rolling and killing one of the cultists before the cutscene activates. That what confuses the game because one of the cutscene actors are supposed to be alive, but they're dead. And the game just lets you out of the room without having to fight anyone. But it's actually pretty tricky and pretty rare to hit it, in all honesty.
Especially on keyboard when you're stuck to 8 directions.
That's why I play on controller.
Now we'll be setting our actual difficulty to easy. The first 20 minutes or so of this game is going to be where all of our main glitches and skips and everything are going to be. And then it just gets into RNG pretty much.
Of course, this game does have a lot of RNG, being a roguelite. lot of dungeon RNG, a lot of enemy placement RNG, and also here in the cult itself, we have a lot of resource RNG. This isn't massive throughout the run, but it does matter in this split where we want to cut down 2 trees, or just 1 tree, 2 rocks, and 2 berry bushes for the upcoming building that we need to produce, which is a food pit. So we'll just place that down real fast and then burn some food, maybe, if we're fast. Never mind, Dezinator sucks, he's slow. You can just burn that food and the game doesn't care, but here we have a cutscene skip where we can move during the while the camera pans up and also go way out of bounds if we want to.
Accidentally go out of bounds.
Dezinator going way off script.
Going too fast. Hit the brakes.
But yeah, we can just move during that cutscene if we roll away from where the game wants to place us, and if we don't make it there before the cutscene starts, game gets confused and just lets us walk.
So we're going to our first of 4 worlds, I guess you could say. We're heading into...
I call them dungeons, personally.
Yeah, dungeons.
But we must
areas,
crusade in the
universes.
name of the one who waits.
That we must. So we're starting off with our first of our scripted weapons here in our tutorial dungeon. So this will be the sword. It's the default weapon. It's got good damage, good speed, relatively good distance and everything. It's just an all around pretty alright weapon.
Shout out to Kinect. We're gonna just pass them by for now.
All good.
And
So,
here-
good RNG here.
Yeah, let's go.
So we do actually have the first significant RNG that isn't reliant on a near frame perfect skip, like the Red's House skip or that cutscene skip we mentioned earlier, is that we need to construct a temple, because all good cults need one. And while we want to collect our cult, it still has to be a cult. So we need 15 wood and 5 stone before we leave this dungeon for optional time. And if not, it's no worry, we just have to mine it from our base. But it's a lot faster if we find it during a crusade, because a sword is a better mining tool than a pick.
Exactly, everyone knows that.
I mean, if you're violent enough, anything's better than a pick.
We did get 1 stone there, I'm pretty sure, from those rocks. So, 1 less we have to get. Our first mini-boss, Amdusius. Easiest way to beat him, stand still and swing. He just can't really hit you, which is cool.
If he does hit you, we have a problem, though. But
He does.
oh, we're good.
Easy. And then, as all good cults do, you've got to indoctrinate the people you kill, so... And we get our rock reward.
Getting
as well,
lucky
which
there
is
with
very
stone is nice. That was a perfect Darkwood one.
It's about a 1 in 4 chance in my experience you get both of them.
Yeah, it's not super rare, but it is awful when you don't get them both. Because it's like basically a free 30-second time loss depending on your cult's resource layout. But thankfully, we've gotten everything we need. The 30 gold we needed, we just get the extra from not taking damage, because the game will give us bonus resources if we don't take damage, which is really helpful.
That gold's very important, because that will require a new save if we don't have enough.
Yeah, you can softlock in the version we play if you don't get 30 gold before this tutorial sequence in the cult, because you need to build this shrine, but you don't have the gold to do it. And for some reason, the game doesn't just give you the gold when you load in. It just kind of assumes you'll get it, and that was a problem they had to patch out. But we don't play on that patch. Also, Franker Z in chat, because this is this game has a lot of different follower skins, and that one is Franker Z from a follower pack that they were dropping during the Game Awards, I think it was.
It's been out a couple of times, I think, yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna unlock our temple, and we'll want to place it pretty high up in the cult, just so we can reduce travel time between dungeon runs.
Don't.
And then, oh no!
Go away.
Thanks, follower. Oh my god!
go
Not
away.
again!
If you speed up the time, they actually can build faster too, if you can't get a good spot.
Oh my, yeah,
Oh.
just speed up time. Okay.
No,
we
we're fine.
want this spot in particular because a skip coming up. Once we build the temple, we'll be rolling straight up into it, and it plays this cutscene where we talk to Ratau just inside the temple, and it saves about 4 seconds because that cutscene typically plays outside of the temple in your cult.
Or if you
we can
try
play
to
it inside
roll
here,
in-
it's obviously faster.
Yeah. If you try to roll into the temple from a slightly different spot and you're too late, you're soft locked.
Yeah, it's
Which
pretty
is-
funny. But we could actually just quit out, save, and then quit out to the menu and
Okay.
reload, and we're fine. But it is annoying.
Yeah, you were never intended to go very fast in this game.
Especially not in this tutorial segment. The game doesn't really expect you to know what you're doing immediately.
I mean, the first soft lock potential is 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. Soft locks can happen in this game?
No, never. We
Wait,
get our second weapon here with the axe. It swings a bit slower and deals more damage, but we are... Oh, what? You got
Ooh.
I got
Yeah,
hit during
anyways.
the supposed damage list bit.
Oh,
That's really
fun.
cool.
But Metric, would you like to explain why the axe isn't as bad as it may seem?
Sure thing. So all the weapons are pretty balanced in a casual playthrough, but we have animation canceling. So every time you want to break something, you just got to roll. And the way rolling breaks weapons is weapons have a start, middle, and an end to their. Ooh, that is incredible luck.
That room RNG is awesome. Oh my god, Sonic the Hedgehog.
On that later, back to the technical. So when you wind up the weapon and then swing in the center of it, you do all your damage. But if you roll before you're done dealing damage,
Oh my god.
it just instantly lets you attack again.
This is
Because of
actually
this, some of the
perfect.
heavy weapons, like the axe, instead of having pretty good DPS, because they have a really long cooldown time, we're able to just keep swinging it about as fast as you normally swing the sword. Faster even if you do it right. So it makes the
animation
axe
canceling is awesome.
arguably the best weapon. People have different
Arguably.
opinions. The runner here gets to decide, so currently the axe is not the best weapon.
Axe is not the best weapon. Also, can let you spawn things? Thank you.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of stuff has gone on in this dungeon so far. Right now, we're talking to Leshy. Leshy is one of the bishops of the Old Faith, which are the people imprisoning our beloved demon overlord, the one who waits. And it's our job to kill them. What did you expect? So Leshy will be dead by the time we exit Darkwood for the third time. Or fourth time. I know how to speak.
We got Valafar
And here we have
here.
Velfar. Very simple, very straightforward.
Take the
We
hit,
don't need
but it doesn't
anything
really matter.
special out of this dungeon because we just get the 3 commandment stones. That is scripted with the big owl dude. You may have noticed him earlier. But all we need is to grab that commandment stone and then, of course, exit the dungeon alive. Otherwise, we don't have anything special because the game wants to teach us about something we won't use in the run.
We did get the 2 followers there, which is actually incredible RNG.
Oh yeah, that was
this early on.
probably the best dungeon Darkwood 1 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Darkwood 2.
Or,
No, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. Haha, shift the blame. But yeah.
So we're going to go back to manage our cult for just a minute here. Apparently, dancing under a bonfire beneath the moon is mandatory for all cults. But so we
Of
have to have
course.
a blood-soaked tablet to write this down in stone so that our followers will actually listen to us. Unfortunately, we can't complete that ritual yet until we have the bones of our enemies. So we're going to go back.
Everyone
to the dark
knows you need to light a bonfire with bones. You need
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
Don't ask
Double
like
Claws is doing
everyone
it
who's
wrong.
ever been outside.
And our third scripted weapon for the game is the dagger. The worst weapon in the game, as
Yes.
agreed to by most.
It's the
The
worst
dagger
weapon
was-
in the game because you said it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a fact. The dagger was sent by the devs to punish lamb kind because it would have grown too powerful with animation skipping.
True. But yeah, the dagger's pretty bad. Thankfully, this dungeon kind of makes up for it with one of the better curses in the game, which we haven't even talked about curses. So curses are just secondary weapons that we have, basically just spells that we can get charges with the blood of our enemies. This game's weirdly dark for a game that looks as cute as this. But yeah, the one we have right now is just a straight line of tentacles, and it just deals a bunch of AoE damage. Also, this is also really good RNG.
This is really nice.
I would have gone to the shop there, but...
No, you would have gone through...
Oh, yeah, you would have had a shop on the other side. You're good, though. So while we're having more good RNG, we should talk about why we were excited last time.
It, yeah.
So in order to...
oh my god.
Jeez. Gonna see a world record here.
You better be running live split right now. I'm gonna be mad.
I am indeed, yeah.
Oh,
all right.
God.
So we need to have 20 followers to complete the game, as well as to unlock the different regions. You have to have at least 6 if you use a particular glitch after we finish this dungeon, and we're at like 8 or 9 when we're done. Yeah. With our current luck. So the other thing on that map is you might have noticed a lot of those map icons are swords, just a vertical sword, and those are additional dungeon crawls. So each costs a minute to a minute and a half, depending on your luck, and we want to avoid those like the plague.
Yeah.
It's also where most of the RNG comes in.
Yeah, it definitely is. Getting bad pathing is really unlucky. Also, this boss is so much better with an axe, which we got from a weapon room that was just happened to be on the path through the dungeon. I'm mad. Why can't I see RNG like this?
It's not actually
but yeah, Barbados is awful with the dagger. It takes like 5 cycles, and with the axe we can get in like 2 or 3. It's really nice.
Yeah, the dagger
really good Darkwood 3.
It was, yeah.
Incredible. So we'll see if your luck holds up. We've probably jinxed it now.
Just like in the practice run, huh?
Hey, we don't... The practice run stay in the practice run. But here, I don't know what this guy's teaching us. I didn't use the read mind command at all during my casual playthrough, despite being really excited about it.
I think I used it once, went, and then forgot it existed.
Yeah. But, this split is where things get fun. We're going to return to our cult for the 3rd time so far, and we're going to go ahead and indoctrinate a bunch of our followers. So this is kind of just downtime.
Speed up button again.
You forgot it again? How did
no,
you
I got it. I remember.
One thing we could talk about during this is that the game, while you're in your cult, actually has a speed up button where you can just fast forward time, which is kind of feels like it was catered towards us, but no, it was actually there on release. They didn't update that into the game. So it makes indoctrinating followers here a lot faster.
We'll still spend 2.5 to 3 minutes indoctrinating them. Yes. Don't worry. You'll see plenty of red t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, forwarding time
red
here.
T-shirt club.
Oh, right. Slightly different route. So we just forwarded time there to the next day because you can only perform 1 sermon a day. And we were so quick that we actually didn't have time for our sermons to come off cooldown after the first mandatory one. So Dezinator here is going to just be unlocking a few more spells to add to the collection. They're really good for how long it takes to unlock them.
Yeah.
Not everyone goes for them.
Technically, if you don't get the spells dropped as RNG during it, then it's a bit of a time waste to unlock it. But they're cool, and I want to show them off. So
yeah, you typically see most of them. Yeah. It's pretty generous, especially with weapon rooms with random weapon spawns. Also, some of the curses we have are just bad, so that's fine. But we're finished up with all of our tutorial stuff now, so Ratau's going to retreat to his lonely shack, which happens to also open up the hub world, which we can travel to. This will come in handy in like a minute or 2. Game just shows us where we can do it, so we'll come back to this little pedestal in a bit. So, First and foremost, Metric, if you'd like to describe the glitch that you're not at all familiar with.
I have been practicing this, so I am actually.
Okay.
So we're about to sacrifice a whole bunch of our followers, but we need them to act as keys to unlock the rest of the world. So we're going to duplicate them here. So you'll see that not all of them left after opening our doorway, and if you leave the room quick enough, you'll actually interrupt their leave animation. So we just get kind of stacked duplicates here. You can see those are their
You don't have to redupe them, by
shadow
the way. You
clones.
Just go straight to Silk Cradle.
Oh yeah, you did get enough. That was a really good dupe. So this allows us to unlock all 4 regions, and it's also the main divergence between the 2 categories. between unrestricted and no major glitches. The other ones will show off.
The major one comes in like 15 seconds.
Exactly.
This is also one of the reasons I assume both of you run on mouse and keyboard. So whenever you open the hub world, the game has a few frames where you can just teleport to anywhere you want. Welcome to Midas's Cave. This place isn't unlocked yet, at least not typically. We can just teleport here because the game's menuing is a bit finicky and will just let us menu here for like a frame or two. It's very funny.
So
You're not supposed to unlock this until way later into the game.
Oh yeah, this is the last place you unlock. So right here, though, we're going to be trying out a glitch. Dez is really good at it. I am terrible at this.
As you
there's
say
about
that, I don't get the first one.
True.
You got 4 last time, so I'm still reeling from that. So we're currently trading some of our followers into Midas here to a fate that is definitely not worse than death, so that we can get some red talismans.
There we go.
These will allow us to unlock the most broken item in the game. And right now, we're trying to skip it, though, because the pickup animation is really, really long. So there's one...
Every time.
There's a spot we walk to every time we pick one up. So you'll see that we're standing on the left side of the statue, and then we walk to the right. If we're really fast, there's 1 or 2 frames in there where we can interact with the shrine again before picking up the object. So it will still give us the first talisman, but we can instantly sacrifice another one. Also, rest in peace.
Salutations.
We're
gonna sacrifice
3.
Yeah, we got 1, which honestly is more than I get typically.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I think it might be me. I hit all 4. I always lose time on that split. It's awful. But after that, we're gonna change back our FPS to unlimited because this game was released in 2022. Thank you very much. And then we're gonna go back into Anura not go back into Anura. We're gonna do that after unlocking the most broken item in the game. For context, this is down patched and is way nerfed in the current patch, but the Golden Fleece will give us a huge damage multiplier that increases with every kill. We want to kill enemies quickly. That's helpful. Unfortunately, the damage multiplier will reset whenever we take hit, so it turns the game into a no-hit run, if we want to go fast at least. And then we'll be taking double damage. So we gotta play it a bit safer, but the Golden Fleece is much faster than playing with any other fleece, and compared with playing with the default loadout.
Exactly. That is why, we play on patch 1.0.11, which is the latest patch that Golden Fleece was left at uncapped damage. So there's a potential we could reach, plus 1,000% extra damage and just literally decimate every single boss in existence.
You can still do that in the modern patch. They actually changed the item twice because people didn't like the nerf they did. Originally, they capped it out at plus 200% damage, which still means you're dealing triple the damage. But just wasn't fun because people like one-shotting bosses. So they actually just halved how quickly it stacks in the modern patch.
Yeah,
so currently...
we'll get plus 5.
So we have plus 300% damage right now, and we have only plus 150 in modern patch. That's the main reason we run this.
The biggest reason we down patch.
I think the only other thing that down patching does is it lets us skip the opening cutscene when we accept the crown. Though I've also heard rumor that breaks occasionally, so.
It does. It's not consistent, and why be inconsistent with a 30-second time save when you can save a lot more by down patching?
Exactly.
And also get the 30-second time save. Unfortunately, in this dungeon, we didn't hit a what I call a crusade floor skip. I found out that that's a relatively not used term, but just skipping one of these sword rooms. Again, if you're just tuning in, because we have had the Cult of the Lamb Twitter team tweet about this run now. If you're just tuning in, we want to avoid those sword rooms because they're very long. It's very slow, but it's all random, so we just have to get lucky. Unfortunately, no luck here.
Also, as much as we talk about luck in this game, there's enough luck that as long as you're good and don't get killed, That's the main thing, is just don't die a lot. You can usually get about sub 120 is considered a good run. And then randomness starts deciding things that are below about 150 or an hour 15 to an hour 18.
Yeah, for reference, the current world record is, oh, that's unfortunate. The current world record is 109, I believe, by a Japanese runner that I call Akiru, but I'm not sure if others call them differently. That run is very, very lucky. It gets a Crusade floor skip basically every single dungeon, as far as I'm aware.
It's a very good run, yeah.
Also, we were gonna, Shovel Claws, you wanted to talk about the spell we picked up.
We can do it next time we see it, because we are taking on Leshy now. The door to the temple crumbling down, and Leshy will turn into... I have questions about what this is still, I'm not really sure. Apparently it's a tree monster. Big tree worm, why not?
Something like that.
We were kind of unlucky and got hit right before this, but luckily with the curse we have, it doesn't even matter, because Leshy died in like 6 seconds. And yeah, that's how good... That's the reason that Dezinator goes for the extra sermon after Darkwood 2, is because that curse, called Hounds, is the best curse in the game. It's a bunch of heat-seeking missiles, and they'll just lock onto the nearest target and kind of poorly aim, but aim nonetheless, to decimate health of enemies, and it's really useful. It also blocks projectiles, which will be a problem in our next dungeon. But before we get there...
Oh, I was going to say, if we had any other curse, that fight would have probably taken another 8 seconds, because Leshy would have burrowed, and we'd have to wait for another cycle.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, because I got an extra on this one, I got 4.
Oh yeah, won't that cause problems in the next...
Nah, it'll be fine.
Sure, runner, I believe you. We're gonna unlock Omnipresence real fast. We're using the heart that we harvest from Leshy. Again, gruesome game for being this cute, but we're gonna just sacrifice his heart. I don't know why, but that unlocks an ability called Omnipresence, which allows us to just leave a cult segment or a dungeon run at any time. And we're going to be using that at the end of every dungeon now to save, I think it's about 5 seconds, maybe 10. I've timed this and I can't remember which one it was, but it was somewhere between there.
I accidentally forgot the heart once today, and it was about 10 seconds. It's bad picking up all that loot.
Yeah, it definitely is. So, pretty free time save since we have to pick up the heart either way.
Oh, and
go ahead.
Oh, we have a new weapon here too.
We do.
So we mentioned
choice words.
We mentioned earlier the animations canceling you can do in this game to increase your attack speed, but it has one other property whenever you disrupt your animation, is that it doesn't tick up the counter that determines which part of your combo you're in. So this normally doesn't matter very much. Most of the combo attacks just are visually different or have a slightly different area that they hit. However, the gauntlets, or claws, depending on what you like to call them, have a specialty that they are a 3-hit combo piece. You do 2 weak attacks that are a bit worse than a sword swing, and then the third attack has crazy range and damage, but is hard to control. And normally this is pretty well balanced by the game, just because they're just designed that way. But with animation canceling, we can actually keep the counter on the third swing. So you'll see we're just kind of running around ground pounding everything and instantly clearing the room even without a high damage modifier.
Yeah, the gauntlets are very useful. Also, if you call these things the claws, you are wrong. They aren't claws, they go on your hands like they are gauntlets.
That was very close to hitting me.
I don't know, what does the runner say?
The runner says gauntlets, right?
Guy. Yeah.
See, I knew you were correct. I will also say Silk Cradle is very annoying, so it's nice to have a weapon with a lot of range, at least for the first bit. Typically, we don't get as lucky next time. But here we have Folklore, which I know someone in this run doesn't like.
But keep at him. See, he is dangerous. I'm not crazy.
So all three of us have a individual trauma boss, and Metrix is Focalor. For a very funny reason. I laugh at every time I hear it.
So when I was learning to speedrun, I didn't know all the bosses too well, and I ran into Focalor, and he just killed me 6 times in a row at the end of that dungeon. So I finally triumphed. I left Silk Cradle because I just wanted to keep going forward. And I stepped into a question mark room, which we have been actively avoiding this game, because those are sometimes boss rooms of bosses you've defeated before. So after dying 6 times and moving all of my life, he came back for revenge and took it.
It's a classic. All of us have experienced the worst boss of the game coming back to fight us in the question mark room. Also, very high skill use of omnipresence there. We had a dagger in the dungeon before this, or I guess when we entered the this dungeon again a few like 30 seconds ago. But Dezinator with omnipresence now can just leave dungeons if he has bad weapon luck, and that's actually faster in Silk Cradle to do if you get a dagger to just re-roll your chance. Dagger is that bad in this dungeon specifically because all of the enemies have a lot more health. Also, definitely take out the priest first. But yeah, all of the enemies have super high health in this dungeon, and they're all really annoying to kill if you don't have a good weapon.
So for context for why the dagger is so incredibly bad here is with animation canceling and axe, we're dealing 4 to 5 times as much damage as we would be doing otherwise. And when you enter this dungeon, we're supposed to be doing about 2.5 times as much damage with all of our weapons. We're supposed to have a crazy number of curses with freezing effects and mind control effects and a bunch of extra hearts. And we have half a heart in the golden fleece.
Okay, some context there.
I can't believe I just did that.
It happens. We all have it. But for context there, follower rooms can come in a few varieties, and one of those varieties is where we have to spare a follower, basically. And if you don't choose the right dialogues option, they just won't join you. And it's a really fast way to get followers, but it's also really easy to screw up if you don't click the right dialogue option.
It's always
which
left,
Dezinator
but
did
I was
not.
thinking it was right for some reason. So I was thinking of
it is always left, but Dezinator for gore, and so
I was thinking of the Shimura dialogue to refuse bowing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
that's tragic.
Oh, that's painful. Getting hit here is bad. Always.
Take that, actually.
Blasphemy.
Oh, getting the gauntlets over the axe. How did both of those not hit?
I'm crazy with it. Oh my god.
I don't understand, but that's okay.
I've noticed some of the weapons have a blind spot if your enemy's too close to you. Like the axe, the handle won't damage enemies, so if they're too close, you'll actually just swing around them. So I guess the gauntlet has a small area like that too.
And here's my trauma boss, Vepper. I don't like coming into this room without many golden fleece stacks because I will almost certainly get overwhelmed with the number of enemies he spawns. Because as he takes damage, he'll spawn a spider or two. And if you don't have any damage multiplier, those things get really, really hard to deal with as the fight goes on.
If you think about it,
of course we just ignore them.
If you think about it, my fumble on the follower there was actually a bit of a time save because I didn't have to watch the cutscene of like teleporting him in.
Copium.
I mean, I did get my double follower in Darkwood, so technically didn't need him.
Definitely makes up for it.
Yeah.
That's true. You've got enough followers. You probably would get too many at this point.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Shrummy. He's an NPC who just plays a dice game called Knucklebones, which recently the Cult of the Lamb server had an event for. Shout out to everyone behind the scenes on the team of Cult of the Lamb, because those people know how to do social interaction with their followers. It's almost like they're running a cult, but I won't read between the lines too much.
It's not a cult, it's just an unaccepted community.
Loyal fan base, smiley face.
Don't mind us, we're just going to kill some more of our followers. I thought I soft locked for a second.
So all the bosses inflict some bane upon your cult, some way to damage you at home, not just in the dungeon, because killing you has not been working. Well, it wouldn't be working. They haven't actually succeeded yet. Normally, it's just as ineffective. Ooh,
really?
Yeah, just go all the way right here.
That's the worst.
And that's what bad RNG looks like. 2 crusade floors, awful. We're gonna spend a while on this run.
Oh yeah. So the different curses they inflict are normally they're pretty bad and casual, even the more minor ones, because they can involve making your followers hungry. And if you're new to this game, food is always a problem.
Yeah.
Heck, even when you're experienced, trying to run a full-size cult is impossible to feed. They can inflict sickness. Leshy, I don't think he ever actually directly attacks your cult.
Leshy doesn't do anything because tutorial. It'd be kind of cruel to do that.
That's true. But the cruelest of all is Shamara, who mind controls your followers and makes you fight them.
Yep.
Which is very lethal.
Yes.
When I did my casual playthrough, I actually had Omnipresence, and I just ran in a corner and recalled really fast.
Sure, on Shopway.
But that's too slow in this, so it's easier just to get 3 followers than reset the run or reset a dungeon to avoid it.
Yeah. It's kind of insane how the math on the follower counts throughout this run works out perfectly. Because we don't lose all of our followers if you don't get lucky like Dezinator did until this dungeon run where Shamira makes us kill 2 of our followers in the middle of it. So we have followers all the way until this.
It is quicker to not have any followers, because then you don't have to watch the animation of when you defeat like one of the big bosses, they'll be like welcoming you back to your cult. And if you don't have any followers, they just won't be there. So it's about like, I want to say like 5-10 seconds worth of cutscenes you skip.
Yeah, it is pretty beefy to have all of our followers dead, which is a benefit of doing Silk Cradle in the reverse order, which I guess we could talk about now since we have this second dungeon or crusade floor to go through.
Sounds like a great plan.
While I wait for this.
Also, shout out to the cocoons.
Yeah.
These things just don't hatch on the patch we run on, and it's really annoying.
Depends when
but what
you
are we
kill
gonna do
the
about
last enemy in the room.
it? Yeah.
I've lost about 30 seconds on one of those cocoons before.
Yeah.
It's awful.
But also orbital RNG, which we don't have to deal with in this one, but you can have items that are handed to NPCs by another, or that are handed to any NPC, can just orbit them endlessly. And I've lost about 30 seconds just watching a present wrap around a follower a couple thousand times. So,
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
anyway, we were talking about Shamara. Do you want to go into that, Shovel?
In what way? Pause, champ. I love this game.
This dungeon is specifically to make up for that first one.
Yeah, it really is, huh? This
So,
isn't our fault, though. Smiley face, right, Metric? Smiley face.
We have
We did plan this
900%
for
damage.
entertainment now.
Also, Horus Hero will get... Okay, never mind. I was gonna say he gets own time it with him dying, but thanks, Des. Really ruined the bit here.
Let's not die. Really funny.
Also, half a heart. Nice.
If you had died here, that would have been the best ending to the worst RNG
That
generation
would have
possible.
been. Deaths are really bad in this game, depending on where you die in. If it's at the first crusade floor of the dungeon, then it's not that big a deal. You lose like maybe 30 seconds
4
to
minutes.
90
That's not bad for a
seconds.
Silk Cradle 3.
That isn't bad for the dungeon
I've had
RNG
like
you got.
7-8 minutes for that room before.
Yeah, I also have.
Terrible.
Silk Cradle's rough. But yeah, if you die at the end of a dungeon, that can be anywhere from like 2.5 minutes to like 7 minutes, depending again on room RNG. Also, you have a dungeon skip on all the way on the left. You could re-roll it, but I don't know if it's worth.
Nope.
Especially with this
That is
loadout.
a perfect arsenal.
Yep.
So we are actually in Silk Cradle, though, for a very specific reason. Because this is normally the last area you go to. All the enemies are very dangerous here compared to the others.
Yep.
And we actually are here because we need to kill the very specific bishop that resides over this domain, because this one talks a lot.
He really does. He has the vocabulary of Shakespeare, but if he was like a little bit more pretentious.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'd go that far. I don't like Shimura. He's a weirdo, but yeah, he talks a lot, and so killing him now will skip a lot of cutscenes that we'll have in the future through to the next 2 dungeons we have. Also, look out for the dude in the bushes. Yeah, these little spiders can definitely sneak up on you. But yeah, the cutscenes that we skip in later dungeons make going through this dungeon a little underpowered, even if we're a little underpowered, way better than going through them and having all those cutscenes. It's pretty nice. Go all the way to the left now. Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
you only have one line. I forgot. Okay, that's fair.
We can at least skip 1 dungeon. So we had to do 2 extra crusades in the last one due to the generation. It was just 2 solid rows of crusades. And this one, we kind of have it staggered a bit, so we can do 1 crusade floor and skip the other.
Yeah, definitely nicer. Also, getting a follower along the way here isn't bad at all. So. Also, another benefit. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask how many followers are at right now.
I haven't been counting. I always make the runner do that.
I am terrible at counting.
Hit me.
I will, during my runs, I'll actually go and recruit followers early in some cases because I just lost count.
Yeah, it's fine. Dezinator goes back and indoctrinates all of them before
like a
Anchor Deep anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shavara just spawning a bunch of enemies again. All of the bishops do this to some extent, but some of them are definitely way worse than others. Shimura happens to spawn a lot of enemies because he's weird and obsessed with war. I don't know. He's a bit of a warmonger, a little bit. It's kind of freaky, but.
Also depends on what room generation you get for those spawn ones. If it's one of the giant rooms and you don't have a spell that can go across the room, it sucks.
Also, according to chat, we are in the quantum state between 5 or 0 followers.
Sounds good. Keep it up, chat.
Awesome. Thanks, chat. Anyways, another benefit of playing Soul Cradle first is that as speedrunners, typically as a community, we like doing things that are hardest at the beginning of the run, at least if we can help it. And it just so happens that Silk Cradle has the hardest enemy set and also some of the hardest bosses in the game. And so doing this first is pretty helpful by just getting the hard parts out of the way first. After Silk Cradle, this run typically turns into pretty smooth sailing, but in Silk Cradle, you definitely have to play at your best, and that's why playing it first is just so beneficial. Shout out to No Major Glitches runners. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah, because in No Major Glitches,
painful.
you can't play this dungeon first because you can't do follower dupe. So it's definitely pretty harmful.
We shouldn't be seeing Shimura for too long here.
Thankfully.
Just on the routing that I do, by the way, the after I take out Honor 3, I actually have enough followers to go to Silk Cradle, and I get all of that out of the way right then. Except I leave Shamura for later on because I don't like having the hammer.
That's fair.
That might be because I'm bad. It might be because the hammer is actually just a worse weapon. Jerry's still out.
Oh no.
Oh.
Shamura is... Okay, focus time, because we're at
No,
one hit from death.
out.
Oh, there we go.
It's
Oh
not
no,
a real
the bomb's
rush.
gonna land on you. Oh, okay, thank God. That could have been a soft lock if it were something that could actually damage you.
I'm surprised only one of those spells hit.
Yeah, no,
Those two just
that got
completely missed.
messy.
Well, yeah, it's because it's whenever Shimura is about at half health, he will have a very long period of invulnerability, and I don't know, it's weird and dumb, and I don't like it because invulnerability on my bosses, gross. But
Also,
See,
doesn't
yeah,
look
we have to deal
invulnerable.
with it.
They stand there and roar for a second as you just swing at the air.
Yeah. And this is something
But,
Chad
we're
asked
done
me
with
about
Silk
where
Cradle, so-
gauntlets rank as a weapon type. For me personally, they are S tier. They're the top because what we're talking about before with chaining their big attacks just means it's the best DPS output for anything.
That's fair. What are your favorite weapons, Metric? I'm curious, because I don't think I've actually ever heard.
The axe and the sword.
Oh, right, you're the sword enjoyer of our group.
I don't mind sword, especially for Anura. I'm a big sword enjoyer.
It doesn't do much damage, but it's so easy to use.
That's fair. With the other weapons, animation canceling is definitely like a skill curve that this run kind of needs to be interesting, if we're gonna be real. But
you animation cancel with the sword.
You don't need animation canceling, yeah, and that's really helpful.
No. You should try animation canceling. It's actually really
No,
nice.
I won't. I don't know. The sword already feels fast enough to where I don't feel a benefit when I try it. Because I have tried it.
You haven't double tapped enough large enemies yet, then.
I guess that's fair. I also play on controllers, so I feel like animation canceling is a bit more finicky just because of the button layout.
That would do it, actually. It's hard to animation cancel the sword, but it's just satisfying when you pull it off.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
we're at
It is
9
satisfying.
followers. That's where our count will be.
Everyone in
continuing.
chat was wrong. Unfortunate.
Nah, the quantum superposition
Okay.
failed.
Continue counting from 9 now.
All right, who was observing it? Speak up.
But speaking of weapons that people like, I like the hammer a lot.
I don't like
it's
the hammer.
placed in S
Excuse
tier
me?
right next to the axe. Yeah, I like the hammer. We've
We
gone
can
over
argue
this.
about the axe or the gauntlet, but that's objectively wrong.
I like the hammer because it gives you nice control. Because as you can tell, it has a very long windup. Of course, this windup gets
I could
annoying when
watch-
you go against certain enemies, but it's negligible enough to where I still really like the hammer.
I watched
so
a full episode of Seinfeld in the time it takes to wind up.
So on a more technical note with the hammer, the reason why it's a weird weapon is it
won't mess
has
up,
an
I won't mess up,
incredibly
I won't
high
mess up.
damage,
I
but
didn't mess it
animation,
up.
yay! Animation canceling with the hammer is really awkward because
It is.
you cancel on the damage when the damage is occurring, and it has a really short follow-up. So after you hit, you pull it back really quick, but it takes a long time to actually swing down. So you'll see we're instantly rolling when it impacts so that we can attack again, but it's only like a 30% attack speed increase compared to the axe or the gauntlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is going to be...
Also, giving us a very warm welcome to Anchor Deep.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I spent that time indoctrinating some followers. If you don't have any followers that are well enough during this, you will have to fight away a bunch of enemies instead. Rather, you will just get one go sick, which we can take. Another reason why we play on easy, oh my god, is that on easy mode, any followers that become sick or hungry, they will just get better by themselves without you having to do anything for it, such as like making them eat or sending them to bed or whatever.
Yeah, we don't even construct beds for our followers because that's how well they can take care of themselves. It's pretty nice, actually. Also, hello to Celios.
Oh, that
Goodbye to
is my
Celios.
that boss is my kryptonite, and thankfully it was not much of an issue today.
Yeah, the bosses also fight very differently depending on whether or not you have your fleece wound up before you step in. So if you're at like 800% damage boost, the boss just kind of evaporates, but if you're at 20, you have to fight them for real.
But Dezinator is doing a kind of different route compared to what I personally do. After Anchor Deep 1, Dezinator will go into a Nura 1, and the reason for this is... This is where I'm telling you to explain it, Dezinator, because I don't actually know.
So it's as you saw in what was it, Anchor Deep 1, we had that interaction with Kalamar, is his name, to make one follower hungry. That will happen as well in Anura, but instead of making them hungry, Hecate will decide to make our followers made them sick in Anchor Deep, makes them hungry here, so I just like getting that out of the way when I know I've got followers that I can use. I don't
That's
know why I
fair.
didn't.
Oh, you missed the follower
stupid.
shop. Actually, that might be helpful depending on how many
I can't remember how many I've bought,
followers you've bought. I can't remember either. I don't think it's enough yet. We'll see if that ever comes up, and then we'll explain
So,
why
right here,
what that cryptic
we'll see.
messaging is.
Hecate will just make one hungry, and saves me having to fight a horde of enemies here.
Yeah, it's definitely better to have followers as you go through Anura and Anchor Deep, just because those combat rooms, if you don't have followers, are so long, it's kind of painful. I personally do all of Anchor Deep and all of Anura because it makes my splits look better on Live Split.
Yeah.
Wow, you're really not going to take the gauntlets? That's a first.
Nah, we've got a good percent with the axe.
I guess that's fair. You also don't really need them in Anura because much like Darkwood, everyone in this place is really squishy and will die very quickly as long as you don't get the dagger. And
Like that.
Lucian here is a great example because he literally died in 3 hits.
It's
That's
strange.
a mini boss, by the way, in case anyone doesn't know that.
It's strange watching Gusian die that fast because he's normally the last boss that I fight in an MG without the cloak or without the fleece.
Yeah, true.
So
Oh yeah.
And now
You know
I'll
what?
head
Since
back.
we have some downtime here. Yeah, we're going back into Anchor Deep, but since we have some downtime here, also shout out to Jim in the chat who's counting our followers. We're at 11 now.
Jim is the real
Metric,
hero.
do you want to talk some about no major glitches? Since me and Dezinator both run unrestricted, but Metric here is a no major glitches runner.
So it's actually at one point the difference was massive, like a 10-minute difference
Pretty
between the two
big.
categories, but it's down to about 2 minutes now. And the real difference is whether or not you lose a bunch of followers to get the cloak early versus saving the followers to get it about 10 minutes later. That adds up to approximately 2 minutes for most cases, at least from what I can tell from the speedrunning boards. There's not that many NMG runners anymore. And what we do is, instead of using the map teleportation glitch or the follower duplication glitch to unlock areas earlier and reach Midas Mountain, we have to just travel the way that the devs intended.
That's $10 in the mispronunciation bucket. It's Midas's cave, not Midas's mountain. He always does this, chat.
I don't. Is there a donation bucket for hotfix?
No, there isn't.
All right, we'll save my tab for.
I think I chose the wrong direction here. That's all right.
So the really big difference, though, is we at one point talked to a manfish, not a fisherman, a manfish, who was fishing. And he gives us access to a cove where we can fish up some different fish, as any good game allows you to do.
Talking about.
And we can trade rare fish to him for the red talismans instead, and you can reliably get 1 or 2 of them. And then, after that, you go to Onara and you unlock Sozo's region from the Mushroom People.
He's my favorite.
And Sozo just wants mushrooms. So we feed him his own followers, who are made out of mushrooms, in a very humane way. Yeah. And
we literally massacre them in a dungeon run because we just happened to see them when we unlock Sozo's cave. They're just there telling us about Sozo, and so we just kill them all. It's really messed up, honestly.
Yeah, this game opens with technically the conclusion of a word I'm not sure I'm even allowed to say on stream, so...
That's true. That is true. It does open with that, doesn't it?
Anyway, after we get those mushrooms, we then feed one fish to a demon hanging in the darkness.
It baited me.
And if we're still short a talisman, then we also feed the demon one of our followers. And then we have the cloak, and those are the only differences between the runs. It's just how do you acquire the cloak?
I will say, you play the fishing minigame in No Major Glitches, which instantly makes it the best speedrun category ever made.
Unfortunately, it's not a real category as we established, so...
No Major Glitches isn't real, I can't hurt you. But, man, what's even been going on in this Anchor Deep? All I've seen is that you got baited by the weapon room there.
I did, yeah, I was unfortunate.
That was... Wait, did we see Plinko and Bob? And just none of us pointed them out?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
I
think I saw a map.
Oh yeah, it totally was. Oh man, unfortunate. Oh well, we did.
We hit him under the ground again.
One cycle.
Yeah, you can just drag bosses up from the ground even if they go out. It's very funny. Just get back here. Very violent game, but oh well. It can't be violent. Look at it.
It's adorable. It's a lamb.
I know.
How could a lamb be
Oh, yes. Chadwick is correct. The man-fish, fisherman fish.
That's true. He fishes fishermen despite being a man-fish, which... I don't know how I feel about that. That's a new revelation. But, yeah, we're gonna just finish up... We're just gonna finish up Anchor Deep real fast. Also, another amazing loadout here, getting Hounds in the axe. If you weren't here earlier when we declared it, Hounds is the best curse in the game, which curses are very useful.
If you enter a boss room with like 300 or 400 on the fleece, you can kill the boss without actually walking towards them.
It's very cool, actually.
Yeah.
Well, he pulled it off once, but it is a sight to behold.
Yeah.
It is.
Also, shout out to Calamar here, who is literally the only character trait of him is that he's a big coward and is scared of you, and it's very funny and makes me feel powerful when I'm playing this game.
I mean, it's better than Leshy's trait of being forgettable.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Do I have anything here? No.
No, I would avoid...
The fandom is going to stab me for that.
Yeah, you have to risk it or else you get a Crusade floor skip, you're right. Or you missed the Crusade floor skip, rather.
Was there one?
Well, you'd have to either go down 2 and avoid the question mark floor, or you'd have to go 1 Crusade floor and risk the question mark floor.
It's true.
Which I think that's a fair judgment to make, is take the question mark and just hope.
I'm taking the double question mark.
Wait, are there 2 on this path?
There are 2, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
If you weren't here earlier
avoided,
and you happened to miss it, question mark floors are kind of just wildcard floors, but one of those wildcards is refighting a boss fight, and we want to avoid that. Also, shout out to Blimbo, the best NPC in mine and Metric's opinion, I believe.
Best NPC, yeah.
It might have been me and Dez then. Or did we all agree on
No,
that?
it's absolutely Blimbo.
Oh my god, we all agreed on this? Man, I must have fever dreamed that massive argument.
Mean. No, that argument was legit. I'm a Bop fan.
Oh, that's why. That's you're the Bop fan. Okay.
I'm the Bop fan.
Bop does have a bird.
That's
exactly.
No. I thought he has a worm and that he is a bird.
Limbo and Bop.
Or is it? Actually,
I think you're right. It's like the fisherman
Bop
man.
the bird?
I don't actually know. You're the fan of them. You should know this. But yeah, Flimbo is a merchant, and he's mad at you for destabilizing the economy by killing world leaders, which is really, really morbid. But hey, you know what? Also, the boss room was down.
Was it?
I thought you saw it. I saw the big pillars, and I was like, he sees that, right? Anyways, this boss should literally die in 1 hit. Yeah. Beelzebub
Is
is...
that just one cast of hounds?
Yeah, it was. Beelzebub is the weakest boss in terms of defense, but he shoots a ton of projectiles, of which you didn't even get to see, because we killed him that fast.
Exactly.
That's how powerful the Golden Fleece is. And he's always the one I use for an example whenever anyone's like, ooh, what game are you running? What's cool about this game? I'm like, just look.
I mean, it makes sense given like we're talking to what's essentially a god.
You could
there's
reroll
nothing there.
this.
See what weapons we got.
That's fair.
Nope.
That's fair. So, the game is actually really nice to us sometimes, and lets us view the room layout we get earlier than, getting to the actual end of a floor. Unfortunately, it's always whenever we get, like, terrible RNG. At least that's always when it is for me, and I'm like, oh man, I got really bad RNG here. But I was recently introduced to the re-rolling strat where we just omnipresence back to our base and we can get different RNG if we're lucky enough. So, yeah, the game will sometimes show us what floor layouts we get. I think the only time they do is when the bishop shows up. No?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
So, and this is a bishop floor, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Calamar will die at the end of this
It's only
run.
on
Also,
bishop
old
rolls,
person. Woo!
All right.
That's actually good because it means we don't have to select a job for him to do when we indoctrinate him.
That's true. I always get tripped up on the old
Alright.
people because I always forget that old people can't have jobs in this game.
Exactly. Forced retirement.
Which, honestly, now joining the cult doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah.
But
Also, I need to go back to that room.
what was there an X?
Really? No, that
You
was
could go
something
back
that's
for
going to
hounds.
make this.
Oh, I didn't see hounds. I just
Yep,
saw the hair and
hounds.
thought it was an X. That's fair,
Not bad.
honestly.
I don't know,
Hounds
it's-
is really good.
Gauntlets.
It's
hounds.
Dezinator, though. He wouldn't go back to swap the claws for an X. But
hey,
hounds,
that's
yeah.
that's 10 more bucks at the mispronunciation jar when you're around me. Here are the gauntlets, unless I'm not in the room, in which case I don't care that much. But no boss fight, refight, but we meet the second best
Ratu!
NPC in the game, Ratu, and he's only the second best because I always make the joke that he's not to be confused with Ratau because they have the same name and are the same species, which is really kind of awkward. I wonder what those two would do in a party together. That'd be a help a
I
ton.
mean, they're siblings, so
Wait,
What?
hard.
Siblings?
They'll probably
I didn't
do
actually
another-
know that.
yeah, they are. If you sacrifice Ratau to the demon in the deep, I think Fox is that thing's name. Then Ratu asks if you've seen his brother lately.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, you can really tell I did not pay attention when I was playing this game casually. I think by the end of it, I was turned off. Like my brain just shut down. But temple opens up into actually kind of the hardest boss in the game. A lot of people have trouble with this guy, and it's because of one attack that he has. Whenever he transforms into his big evil monster form, which arguably he's already a big evil monster, but bigger, eviler monster, he has 4 arms, and in that lower right one, he has a big grenade, which kind of just turns the game into a temporary bullet hell. But you didn't even
we
see
don't
it
get to see
because
it.
we're that fast.
It's okay. We turned Calamar into Calamari.
There it is. I was wondering if you were going to
Watch
say
Is
it.
that
Did
what
you
you've been
recount-
saving for
Why-
this whole time?
Yeah, that's the pun he's
Yeah.
been saving for every time whenever we've been practicing Dezinator.
Nice. It was worth it.
It was.
View count dropped.
The view account drops
10 people
instantly.
dropped.
Sorry, GDQ. But
Killing viewership right now.
it's okay. I thought GDQ loves puns. This is our audience. Well, this is Metric's audience. I disavow, but
It's how we call the week.
that's fair, I guess. It's better than making everyone sick, which is what the bishops do, right?
So I think we just got Honora left with Hecate.
Yep.
Yep.
We are almost entirely done with this game.
Making pretty good time.
This is pretty good time. RTA, it's
and
like
sword for
102
Anura?
into Anura.
Well, let's see. We've got 3 dungeon crawls left. 4. Yeah, that's pretty good time. You're probably gonna get sub 115.
Maybe.
Sub 112 even if you get really good luck.
Yeah, it really depends on Anura's luck. Anura isn't that long of a dungeon generally. I think my PB has
say
it
Anura's
at
probably the
around 12
shortest.
minutes.
I've gone like a 10-minute something before. It can get pretty nuts.
Yeah, Anura is definitely the shortest, just because it's about the same difficulty as Darkwood, but without any of the tutorial stuff, which is really handy.
It's supposed to be the second area in the game after we do Darkwood, so
Yes.
scaling-wise, it's pretty generous.
Yep. Also, shout out to Spores Grotto. We met the mushroom people that we were talking about earlier. We don't kill them in this run because, 1, that's slow, and 2, we're not that cruel. We're only cruel in no major glitches. Hear that, metric?
It's okay. Mushrooms don't have feelings.
Dang. I mean, I think Sozo would agree with you, yeah.
Actually, I think you're right. So would agree with that. And this is my least favorite room
I
generation.
hate this
here.
room so much. Also, fun fact about the skeletons in this room that are honestly all over Anura, but show up in that room a lot. The followers that we fight in Silk Cradle earlier, whenever Shimura mind controls them and forces us to fight them, actually share the exact same battle properties as the skeletons in this area. So you're supposed to be already accustomed to their fighting patterns, but also I just think it's funny.
Skeletons of the people we killed.
Yeah, I also just think it's funny that the skeletons have an attack pattern that's identical to humans. That's environmental storytelling at its finest. Shout out to Elegos.
We have the best spell for Elegos, though, if this
That's
goes
true,
awry.
but it doesn't even matter.
It is just Elegos.
Yeah, the Golden Fleece makes very short work whenever you have someone as good as Dezinator at avoiding damage. I always get hit during my runs, and that's why I'm like 4 minutes slower than you, I think. I think it's only 2 now.
It's not a real run unless you're 1 hit away from death at some point. That's what makes it
Exactly.
real.
We had that moment earlier, so you know what? That's okay. Oh, it's not even. It's barely under.
Actually, no, I'm gonna take
Oh,
it.
yeah, take the
I'm gonna take
stagger.
It's Anura. We'll show off
Also-
why it's not very great. I mean, it has all right potential in Anura. Also, I see Metric has started his own cult in chat with puns.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna point it out.
What?
I disavow. Yeah.
Oh no!
A lot of people are making.
I'm
What
not
have you
responsible
done?
enough to
No.
run a cult.
You run this game. You're responsible enough. Just set the difficulty to easy. Nice arrow reflect on that enemy
If you
there.
have some good puns, send them my way.
We need content for AGDQ. We're running low.
You'll have noticed we haven't talked at all about the weirdness of the lore or anything. So,
That's because none of us know it, I thought.
well, I know it very well.
Okay, well, that's fair, I
Metric has
guess.
studied up.
I don't know. The only thing worth reading or worth realizing, though, is it was very strange that their method for keeping the god of death away from his followers was to execute them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't work very well.
And
No.
the bishops reaped and then they sowed, and mad that they sowed.
Yeah, the dagger really is just it's a decent weapon in Honora.
Yeah.
It's just Insult Cradle. It's
Even in Anchor Deep, it's pretty
That
bad.
was close.
But it is nice.
I was fighting. I was fighting some of those jumping spiders with the dagger earlier today,
Oh god.
and it took me 30 seconds to kill 2 spiders.
Yeah, it's rough against certain enemies. A lot of enemies in this game have a very short amount of invulnerability at points, and so it's kind of hard to hit them with the dagger before that invulnerability runs out, or at least hard to kill them.
I don't want it for the boss.
That's
Well, it's the
Yeah.
air time. They just jump all the time.
yeah, it is really frustrating, but that's okay. We just deal with it because it's how this game works. It's tough, but this game has a lot of very minor annoyances that like add up over the run if we get owned by them. Oh no,
flies.
that's tragic.
The flies.
The flies are one of those. I don't like the flies at all.
Of course, it's one
Counting
room.
by people who have submitted puns, I have 7 followers in my cult now.
Awesome.
Just write these down.
Also, the gauntlets are even amazing without any damage multiplier because we were at like
this boss
50%.
just jumps around.
That is
Doesn't really do much.
honestly true. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm calling this person out. How do you speedrun as a sheep? You have to hoof it. I'm mad.
Ignis
I'm
has
mad.
made like
Metric,
this
this is
is
your
done.
fault.
What have you done?
something glorious or heretical. I'm not sure yet.
You do realize for AGDQ, it's just going to be even worse.
No.
Oh yeah, the tragic thing is Ignis is better at making puns than me.
Thank you, Richard, for penning that.
Oh, we have one, thankfully.
I love production.
Oh,
And a dagger.
I'm going to have to reset on that, even though we had a Crusade floor skip.
Yeah.
Not
So
really
just
feel like
re-roll
fighting Hector
here.
with a dagger.
Yeah, Hecate with the dagger is really bad, and taking the chance on getting a weapon is pretty not great.
It's better.
This is better, but we just have to hope and see that we get a Crusade floor skip.
Are you going to get the double dude fight right now? I think so.
Wow, immediately out of the gate?
Which is not great with 0 stacks, but it should be
Yeah,
fine.
so here Hecate will spawn 2 of his frog minions, which are actually will show up in the boss fight later on in this dungeon. Also, don't die
What?
to this guy.
Okay.
You're just barely in range. But yeah, those 2 guys will show up again in Hecate's boss fight. And if we don't kill Hecate before they show up, Hecate will actually just jump off screen, and we can't hit him anymore. And we have to take out those frog guys first before we can damage him again, which is really bad because it's like a 30-second time waste just killing those guys, especially when we can kill them before Hecate leaves.
All right, now that I'm reading the chat, I regret this. This is too many puns.
It's okay, just sacrifice
I have
them all.
brought a.
Unlucky.
Oh right, okay, never mind. We're good.
Unlucky, no Crusade floor skip, but
I don't know
Oh,
how many
well.
followers we're at as well.
we should be at enough, I
What
think.
happened to chat? Chat got too distracted with puns that they forgot to count.
Oh, no. Has our hero Jim been on top of it?
Jim!
Where's Jim at? Bring Jim back.
Well, Jim last said 14, but that was at least an entire region ago.
We should be fine, I think. You've gotten enough follower rooms just
Jim
on the
died
way.
to the puns.
You also haven't bought any outside, so that one is still there. So,
I think I'm fine. Like, I'm getting 2 here.
too many puns making you feel sheepish? Oh my god. Oh my
The
god.
problem is there are people who are just objectively better at making puns than me. I don't deserve this seat.
Now he's jealous, chat. Dang.
No. Xenovritus is absolutely right.
I gave up. No, Jim.
Oh,
Chat says we're at 17. Never mind. Chat says we're at 9 plus or minus 9. We'll figure it out. We have a bit.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about
We
right.
have less than 30, so
I would say that's probably accurate, yeah.
it's okay. We haven't been counting our sheep very well.
We're bad herd masters, huh?
No way.
Even chat's done with all the
Not taking
puns.
dagger.
Oh my god! Don't lambast chat for all of these amazing puns. Man, I hate it here.
Y'all started it.
Well, yeah, I reap what I sow.
It's okay. You already said that you're the only white sheep between the three of us, so...
God. I thank God Hecat's the last boss we fight.
I could die.
You could,
I mean, I'm at 860%.
but you won't,
it
right?
would be
Smiley
very
face?
funny if I did. Yeah.
Also, I love Anura because it's just a bunch of frogs in a forest.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to make
Pretty
the Sonic
tame.
Heroes reference. What did you expect? But yeah, Hecate, big frog, man. Is he a frog or is he a toad? Hecate, Metric, I need you to answer this. Because you're the only one who knows.
Hang on.
Also,
Screen shaking too
We're
much.
fine. We're fine.
Hecate does not have warts, so they would be a frog?
that's fair. Hecate's also dead, so does it really matter? I don't know. I asked the question, I guess.
Well, I don't
This
think you
run-
make lamb chops out of a frog or a toad, so
This run
I
will
have
be
no
very
input here.
close to a PB as well. Not going to PB, but it'll be very close to it, which is nice.
What's
Yeah,
the
this is
time
good,
on your Globus?
I'm at 1:12:26.
That is a really fast time.
It's better than my PB.
If we didn't have
Oh.
like in the second half of it with the really bad room gen, could have been looking at more.
Metric-
Thank you, chat, for keeping the spirit alive.
Metric, you're really gonna have to go through the VOD for this and just write these all down because these are actually getting kind of good.
Oh,
The sheer
Yeah,
amount
you're
of
right.
puns
I
is
really
amazing,
should.
man.
That's 10.
that's what I'm doing for the next half hour after this. These are amazing.
These are really good,
11.
actually. But yeah, we have just a bunch of indoctrinating followers here. May recognize some old mini bosses we've utterly destroyed, and they've submitted now that they've seen our power.
Miss
So
Deer, go away, please. I don't want your side
By
quest.
claiming these puns as GDQs, we can pull the wool over their eyes. Fleece our followers with our glorious.
Metric's really risking his role on my
Lost the word.
GDQ couch, huh?
I don't want to go away. I want to talk to this guy.
That's one of the benefits
Jeez.
of doing all of this indoctrination at the very end is that everyone wants to talk to you because the game throughout the game your followers will give you quests. We don't do any of them, obviously, so
Ignore all the puke and vomit around. That's how the cult works.
yeah. So the game has a health track stat that it tracks throughout the game. You can see it in the top left now that we've unlocked it, but it's all the way at 0. Don't worry about it too much. Again, one of the benefits of playing on easy is we don't have to worry about any of that. We just let them all make the cult literally unlivable, and it's fine.
The instinct of self-preservation is a hidden attribute that is removed on normal difficulty.
Yeah.
So normally we have to do this for them, but they're good.
And now
So
with
now
our
we've got
20 followers.
Yeah. Continue.
I was just gonna
Big
say,
chat's done with the puns.
finally. Sorry, chat. Great bullet fired. But with our 20 followers, we can now perform the ritual that we've been playing the entire game for. So the gateway will open with the death of Hecate. those 4 chains were kept on by the bishops being alive, and with us killing them all, now it's off. So that means we can.
So that's a few more than 20 followers there.
A few more than 20.
Oh, I dug deep into that a few days ago.
Also, time is coming
so
up for production.
Oh,
It is.
yeah.
But
It's
with
when we
the ritual.
confirm to concede, correct?
Yes, it's on the last dialogue option. You'll count it down, right, Tez?
Yeah, it'll be sometime.
Pretty sure it's just the right side. Just follow that path.
But
I will- yeah.
the one who waits will be freed by the end of this, because instead of fighting the one who waits, it's actually much faster to just sacrifice
And
ourselves.
time.
So yeah, we just need to be sacrificed and the credits will roll. There's a final boss fight that if you want to see, tune into AGDQ and donate for it, because it's an incentive during my run.
It is, yeah.
Also, we've only fought this boss once or twice each, so it's actually kind of terrifying to fight.
It's
we
not
don't know what we're
too
doing.
bad. It's not that hard, which is weird for a final boss. But it is an interesting fight, because it has some pretty cool things in it. But we won't see that
It
here, because
I've
it's
only fought
faster.
that boss like once or twice. I think, yeah, once in my casual playthrough, and then never again.
Yeah, I think that's most of the speedrunners of this game.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
Big shout out to all the devs who made this game. I love the local games, so yeah, I'll always support my local Australian developers. You're all amazing if you're watching this. Yeah. Thanks for everyone tuning in. It's a great run. Thanks to my couch as well. Thank you, Shovel. Thank you, Metric. Where can people find you guys at?
Wait, real fast, what's the time without load?
It's 1:15:45.
Nice, let's go.
That's pretty good.
That is a
It's
very
only
good
like
run.
3 minutes slower than my.
So, I feel like anything
Take that.
under 118 is just really, really good. And I mean, 117 RTA is pretty expected for this time, so pretty nice. But
Yeah.
to answer your question about where you can find us, me and Metric, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ShovelClaws, and on everything else is just ShovelClaws. It turns out that name isn't very popular, so no one has it. It's just me.
And I am a recluse. I don't actually have a channel. Should probably fix that.
Maybe today's the day. Start
Maybe
your,
today.
your pun cult channel.
Well, open with the promise of puns. I don't make those that often.
Man
Always
really
does
rose to fame with one pun, huh? But
And
yeah,
if you want,
5 minutes of fame and they were a pun.
and you can find me at twitch.tv/Dezinator94 as well. Yeah, we do more Cult of Lamb runs, a bunch of other random stuff as well. It's a good time.
I
yeah,
also do
thanks.
Cult of the Lamb runs and just random other stuff. But
Believe you've got Amok runner next, right?
Yep, coming up next we have a muck runner.
Yeah, that'll be super
I do.
hype.
Go ahead. Yeah. I do want to thank all of you for being here, for commentating and putting on this great show. It was a great run, great commentary, so thank you all so much.
Thank you for having us.
of course,
Thank you.
And we'll see you all AGDQ for Shovel's run as well. Make sure to check
that's
it out.
right.
Which is Friday
Ish.
at 1?
It's at Friday 1 p.m.
1:45?
EST. Check the schedule; it'll translate.
Yeah, it'll be
You'll
there.
beat the
Yeah, it's gonna-
goats to join us.
Friday afternoon. All right. Well, again, thank you all so much. Be sure to check out the run at AGDQ. We are going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with the last run of the night, which is a muck runner. Take care, everyone. I don't know. I said that. We're coming back. See you in a few minutes.